Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Fish Tank, bringing you some more Evolve content here on TwoFishGaming, and I just wanted you to check out this match that I just had. This is probably the closest finish I have ever seen on Evolve. You know, I watch a lot of Evolve gameplay on YouTube, I play a lot of Evolve, and I don't think I have ever seen a finish this close. So, hopefully you guys enjoy, hopefully you find this interesting to watch. So I'm playing as the Wraith here, and I'm playing against a bunch of hunters that have not lost all night. They're full party, or at least they all know each other. I don't think they're actually in a party, because that way one of them can be the monster every once in a while. But I'm playing against a group of 4 people that know each other, and I happen to be the monster. And I played as the monster the round before, as the Kraken, and just got crushed. They were very good, they knew what they were doing, and I overextended myself because I thought, oh, you know, I'm the monster, I'll be fine. And I've been struggling to compete with these guys. The last round, I got pretty much crushed at stage 2 as the Kraken. So this round, I'm like, I gotta play a little bit more careful. So I picked the Wraith just to be a little bit stealthier. A lot of people say the Wraith is OP. I don't necessarily find that to be the case. You know, I put up a video the other day of winning against the Wraith at stage 3, full armor, full health with Lazarus, just because if the Wraith doesn't do a lot of damage quick, there's so little armor that pretty much you're not too hard to beat. So if I stick in fights too long as the Wraith, it really costs me. And you can see here, one of the things I do pretty well in this match is a lot of people don't use the whole dome when they're domed as the monster, and that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Because if you pick one spot to camp in, that's where they can concentrate all their orbital barrages, all their rockets, all of their area of effect stuff. So when you're the monster, move around the dome. Use the whole thing. And I think I actually made a mistake here revealing my position as the monster. I think they thought I was the other side. But since I popped the decoy, they know where it came from. So as soon as it's gone, they actually come up here, and that wasn't my best move. So I go ahead and explode there and try and skirt to the other side of the dome to avoid damage. But I go right into all the turrets and things, so I do take some damage on my way out. And I'm a decent Wraith. I tend to play a little bit stealthier monster, so I like the idea of being able to kind of hit and run, get in and out quick. And that decoy is huge, because even if they know kind of where you are, you can throw them off, and that's big. I found over the short amount of time I've had playing the monster, game's been out, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks now. Over the short amount of time I've had to play the monster, I found that movement as the monster is far more important than being able to cause a lot of damage. And the Wraith is very good at moving quickly, and that's one of the reasons people think it's overpowered, is it's got a lot of movement techniques that are very helpful. It's quick, it can be a little deceptive by throwing that clone up. And if you're wondering why I didn't mind startling those birds a minute ago, or leaving these ones, it's because I got hit with a tracking dart not too long ago, so they pretty much know the general area that I'm in anyway, and it's not really a big deal. I pretty much have to get out of there either way. So I eat, I climb, and try and put some distance. That's one of the nice things about Wraith, is he's got that, she has that teleport burst that kind of lets you put some distance between you and the hunters. So I go ahead and feed as much as I can on the way. The annoying thing about Abe is he's got those tracking darts, so it makes it really hard to ever not be lit up on the map. If he manages to tag enough wildlife and you get unlucky enough to eat one, you really have trouble. And a lot of the time, hunters will make the mistake when they're playing Abe. Usually, if you're good enough to have Abe unlocked at this point, since we're only a couple weeks in. A lot of people haven't played the Trapper too much, but usually if you're good enough to have Abe unlocked, you don't make this mistake. The biggest mistake a lot of hunters make as Abe is they kill the wildlife after they tag it. They think, oh, the monster will quickly pick up free food. And a smart monster, if they know they're playing Abe, won't eat anything that's already dead. You know, you can kill me for food and leave it there, but I'm not going to bother with it. So I see those bodies there, but I actually don't want to eat those. Reason being that A lot of maps have those dead bodies around the power source that you can either eat right off the start, or kind of lead your path away and save them for later, late stage 1, stage 2 type meal. But I don't ever eat those, or very rarely eat all of those, because what ends up happening is if I'm fighting at the power relay, that gives me some last resort armor pickups that I can grab real quick. So I tend to leave those bodies there, and it doesn't always help me, but it's come in big a couple times. And in this match, it does end up helping. You'll have to wait and see if it's enough. But I don't ever eat those bodies. Now, the one nice thing about those bodies is, especially against Abe, who's got those tracking darts, is it's a free meal that can't be tracked. There can't be a tracking dart in something that's already dead, at least not the bodies that started the match dead. So, if you eat those, you know you're safe from getting tracked. Right now I'm already tracked, so I might as well skirt around if I can. I think they might manage to dome me here again. Yes, they do. But at least I have full armor. The annoying thing about Parnell is he's got those rockets that highlight you as the Wraith. So even when you go invisible, that fire damage is huge, and Hyde actually does the same thing. Markov, I don't think actually has anything that will highlight you as the monster. He does have that electric lightning gun, but I think it has to lock on first. I could be wrong. So you actually manage to conceal yourself when you're playing Markov, whereas you can see Parnell is throwing those rockets in, and I'm struggling because it sets me on fire and lights up my position. The other thing that a lot of monsters don't do very well, and I'm not the best at this, but I do manage to do it occasionally, is they don't use their abilities for movement. The only reason I have Warp Blast on my Wraith is not because I love using Warp Blast, it's because it moves me around the arena, or around the world in general, a lot faster. It makes me able to get out of sketchy situations, and you can see there, I managed to get up to the top of the dome and skirt away with that clone, just because I managed to pop back there with the Warp Blast and not take too much damage. So, Wraith does have that huge advantage of that decoy. One thing that these guys knew pretty well that most people playing the Wraith haven't figured out yet is that when you shoot the decoy will flash white, and the actual Wraith will appear for just a half a second as the decoy is flashing. So the actual Wraith will light up a little bit when you shoot the decoy. So even though you do have to get rid of the decoy to deal the damage, it can actually light up the actual Wraith's position, and they were doing a pretty good job of that. I make sure and get that perk there. I know they're kind of close behind me, but I need to stop and get that perk because it's plus 100% feeding speed. And I know that because the same wildlife have the same perks every time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is rough. I need that. I've already lost some health, and as Wraith, you pretty much need to go into the final fight full health if you want to have much of a chance. Not always, but it's really helpful, especially if you're like me and you like to stick in the fight. I tend to overcommit, as I think a lot of monsters do. So I get to the back of the map here. I realize they have not closed the distance yet, so I've got a little bit of time to feed. So I go ahead and feed up while I can, and you can see that 100% feeding speed is huge. You can really plow through a lot of food pretty quick with that. So I'm trying to sneak around here, get a little bit of food while I can. I know they're on their way this way because I was tracking dart. I was darted before I left where the hunters were, and you can see here, there's the hunters. So I stay in sneak mode. I don't panic because I don't think they see me, and I do manage to sneak around this corner without getting caught by the hunters, without getting seen by the hunters. And I throw a decoy back at them in hopes that they'll dome it. I don't think they actually do. And then when my decoy's dead, immediately you want to use those 3 bursts of energy to put as much distance between you and the hunters as possible. Unfortunately, I think most of the wildlife on the map has probably been tagged by Abe at this point, and I think I scared the birds there. I'm not totally sure, but most of the wildlife has been tagged at this point. Pretty much anything I eat is going to give me away. You can see there you have eaten the tracking dart, so I need to try and get as much food in my belly as possible, as quickly as possible. So I use that Warp Blast to farm the food, and that 100% eating speed is huge. You can see there, I pretty much have time to kill it, and the moment it's dead, I can throw it in my stomach without too much problem. And even though I'm tracking darted here, I'm going to try and kind of skirt around the outside of the map. I know there's at least some distance between me and the hunters, even if I'm, you know, lighting up bright on their thing. And then I try and go through there, and I'll throw a clone out. I'm not totally sure how the tracking darts work with the clones yet, because I haven't unlocked Abe as of the filming of this. And I get lucky there, and that clone works perfectly and baits them into that dome. So I know at least if they catch up, I can't be domed in the next 25 seconds or so. And it gives me just enough time to take advantage of that 100% feed speed. And I'm going to sneak away, find a spot to evolve, and once I've evolved, I can feed up for a stage 3 fight. You can see there, Wraith doesn't have a very big health bar, and it's got a really low armor bar. So even though I'm reaching stage 3, I've actually taken more damage than probably your average Wraith has at this point. Even a bad Wraith player, usually if you don't have really good hunters against you, has probably not taken a whole lot of damage at this point just because you're so elusive. So you can see there, I don't have a ton of health going in. I mean, I have the majority of my health. But for how small my armor bar is, I really don't have a whole lot of health for that final fight, which is why I'm being very careful to use the clone to kill the wildlife. I really don't want to damage myself trying to get food in my belly. And like I said, pretty much all of the wildlife's tagged at this point, which is why I went for the bigger wildlife and don't mind scaring the birds, just because there's a much higher payoff out of that large wildlife. And they know I'm going to come to the power reactor, so I might as well go in. I throw the decoy in hopes that while it's up there fighting, the trank dart wears off, or not the trank dart, excuse me, the tracking dart wears off, and I have a chance to kind of swoop around. They know where I'm at here, and I walk through mines, but I warp up here, get myself in the fight, and now I'm domed, so I supernova and try and throw as much damage down as fast as I can. Bucket's invisible there, but I'm still wailing on him as much as possible. He's pretty heavily damaged. And then I do a pretty good job of using that warp blast to cause damage. So I need to find the medic. I managed to eat while I'm invisible. That's one of the huge advantages of that clone, is you can pick up armor while it's doing damage, and that's not something a lot of the other classes have. I managed to abduct the medic, and now is my chance to go to work. So Kyra's done a great job of avoiding me so far. One of the problems with Kyra as compared to Val is, as the monster, it's hard to tell where the healing is coming from. Kyra just uses the grenades to heal, whereas Val has that nice leash that shows you exactly where she is. So once I manage to pinpoint Kyra, I've got her down, but you can see my health is probably at half, probably below half, and I have to camp out that body to make sure they can't revive her. So as I do, I take all kinds of damage. So I'm in bad shape, but at this point I'm pretty much committed to the fight. And I know I've got her down, and I can probably get down the trapper here. I believe this is Abe. I could be wrong, but I know I've got a good chance. So I abduct him, and the abduction is really good because it does damage, and it kind of allows you to position yourself. Even if you were stasis grenaded or have any kind of other issue, you can do a lot. So one thing I do is I pop the clone here, and it's extremely important to armor up mid-fight as Wraith. It's not something you really have to do as the other two monsters, but that clone lets you do it, so you need to take advantage of that. And you can see there the final two characters are there, and I missed the warp blast, and the turrets are going nuts at me, so I need to down the assault as quickly as possible, and I'm taking all kinds of damage. My health bar is extremely low, and I know I'm in trouble here. So rather than camp the body, I throw the clone up, and now is where those bodies that were below come in huge. My only chance here is if I can get a little bit of armor, and I know there's 3 bodies just sitting under here for free armor. And I managed to get them in myself real quick, pull back out, and I have to hope the assault is not revived by now. And right as I get there, Bucket appears, and 1 slash does it. Monster wins. You can see I had just a shred of health left. It's the closest match I've been a part of so far. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, check out the video on screen if you haven't seen it yet. And thanks for watching here on TwoFishGaming.